Greetings, everybody. It's Father Mike. This is Elements of Faith. We're continuing our journey through the stained glass windows in the historic St. Joseph Catholic Church in Shelbyville, Indiana. I wanted to draw our attention to our next window. It is the fifth window on the left side. If you're walking into church and looking at the altar, take a look to your left, and it's the fifth window. This window depicts the Holy Family. And I want to just kind of draw a lesson from each person in this window as we think about it for a minute. Starting with Mary. It's always good to start with Mary. Take a look at my mug. I'm breaking a rule right now. I have a coffee mug in church. Typically not good to bring a beverage into the beautiful church, but it's because of what it says. Honor your inner monk. St. Meinrad sells these mugs. That's one of their taglines with their youth programs, is honor your inner monk, as they kind of look to explain monastic life in a way that's friendly to youth. And each of us has an inner monk. Look at Blessed Mother in this painting, or in this window. Notice how her facial expression indicates a great depth. You can look at her face in this window and you can see a woman who is, as Scripture says, who is pondering these things. Blessed Mother is reflecting in a quiet, prayerful, serene, in a serene kind of way. And I think we are meant to draw a lesson from that. A lot of people think that we Catholics are against questions, and that's ridiculous. Mary, when the child Jesus is told from the angel Gabriel that the child Jesus is going to take residence in Mary's womb, if only she says yes, and she says yes, but she ponders these things, and she has questions. And in fact, I think it's good for Catholics. I think it's good for us all to have questions, because questions are seeking truth, faith seeking understanding. And that's why we Catholics are responsible for so many of the scientific developments over the years, is because we have questions. We have this yearning for more, this yearning for knowledge, but also this yearning for peace, and this yearning for God, this yearning for Jesus. And that's what we see in the face of the Virgin Mary in this window. And so I think we're meant to imitate her prayerfulness, her absolute, her journey, her love of the Lord. I want to look at St. Joseph now. On the other side of my mug, it says, God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. And that's how the monks, and that's how us priests and everybody who prays the Liturgy of the Hours, especially religious communities, religious men and women, priests, as I say, we start every office. I pray it 5 times every day. Made a promise to do that at my priestly ordination, diaconate ordination also. And we start every single office with, God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. The monks chanted, O God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. And then they sing the doxology, and then they go on into their office. I kind of look at St. Joseph and I think maybe he's saying the same thing. God, come to my assistance. Literally, like, Jesus, you're right here. Come to my assistance. I'm working on this project. I need your help. I want your help. And it's interesting because we think about our projects and we call on the divine's help and all that. Joseph is right there working on a project in his wood shop, in his carpenter shop. And he says, God, come to my assistance. Like, Jesus, come here and help me. And I think in our own projects throughout the day, good idea to remember that our beautiful Jesus is right there, waiting to help us. And all we got to say is, God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Now look at Jesus. When God came to earth, he could have just come as a nice, powerful king. He comes into a family. and as a young child models perfectly the virtues. Here we see Jesus in his humanity learning from his foster father, Joseph, contributing to the well-being of the household, contributing to the life of the family. And I think there's beauty in that. I think this is a good window to direct the attention of our kids to, because I think that the virtues that Jesus as a child exhibits here are important for our children to exhibit in our own homes. The family is an important piece. As I said, when God came to earth, he came through a family, into a family. And which speaks to us of the importance of the family. We Catholics have always insisted and proclaimed the beauty, the importance of the family. St. John Paul II said, as the family goes, so will the society. It will follow. And so if families are broken and if families aren't true, if families fall apart, then the whole thing falls apart. It's true for the church too. As a vocations director, I think about all the time how vocations come from healthy families and holy families, and they don't usually fall out of the thin air. I'm very grateful myself on a personal note, that I grew up in a very beautiful family with wonderful parents, a wonderful brother, and I think about that family and that family life and all the things that I learned there that a child never learns in some kind of other environment. Holy families breed holy people, and the Holy Family is an example of that. Now, of course, there's realities of family life. Pope Francis recently said, I know. I talk about in eloquent terms about the importance and beauty of families, and then you go home and there's throwing of dishes and crazy messes in the kitchen and kids running around and all that. He says, but the blessings outnumber the difficulties by far. And so we ought to gaze on this family, or in this window, and hold up our own families, I think, in prayer. And maybe learn a little something from all three of these people. Learn from Mary the importance of pensively praying. Pensive prayer, you might say, thoughtful prayer. You might learn from Joseph the importance on calling upon Jesus, our dear Jesus, at every moment of every day, especially when we have projects that we need help with, which is every project. And then the third, of course, from Jesus, we learn that no matter how wonderful we may think we are, and no matter how wonderful we may be, we still are at the service of the greater family. God bless you all.